Hello, friends. How's it going? Welcome back to Attack the Pantry. I am Jenn de Vega. This stream is a deep dive into ingredients, cooking techniques, and recipes to help you cook for yourself during the pandemonium and for the rest of your adult life. Throw us an egg in the chat if you like what you're seeing or hearing throughout this session. Hello, can you hear me? Is everything okay? I am streaming from a different part of my apartment. My house is currently in disarray from wedding season, and I decided to stream in a nice windowed area. So welcome to another part of my apartment. Hello. Martin, hello. Nice to see you. Everybody checking in the chat. Let us know that you're watching, and I'll say hello. Hi, David. Yes, everything is going to be okay. Thank you for saying so. We got an egg in the chat from Toria. Thank you for the first egg of the day. We love a first egg of the day. So we took a break last week in solidarity with our fellow streamers who stood against hate raids here on Twitch. If you see a hate raid starting, please do report that user. We do have 4 mods in the chat, but, you know, we can all do our part to help prevent things like that. There's a bunch of reading that I need to do about little tools and community building things that we can do to prevent that stuff. But last week we took a break, so we could send a message to Twitch and say, hey, this is not okay, how you're handling all of this feature-wise. So thank you for your patience. And because of that, we took a break last week. We have an Attack the Pantry double header. What's up? Yes, so today we have a guest, and tomorrow we also have a guest. So stay tuned for more information about that. Last time on the show, we talked to my friend Shannon Strucci about being pescatarian. Yes. We learned a lot about being pescatarian, the various reasons for doing so. So you can check out the archive here on Twitch if you click on videos, or the entire collection is located at youtube.com/JENNDLV. And I will put that on the bottom here for you to check out. See, look, easy. Look at that. Great. Friends, good to see you. Hi, Gwem. Good to see you. Glad you're here. I hope your stream went well today. Yes, this is my first doubleheader. Well, actually, no, it's my second. I did 2 streams a week before. We did a live stream with Piebrary, my friend Ryan, and then I did my regular stream. So it's going to be really fun today. I swear to you. Business out of the way first. I'm a Twitch affiliate. That means, hey, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you connect your account for a free subscription to any Twitch creator on the platform. And maybe, hopefully, that's me. But just so you know, it renews every month. So maybe you can choose me one time. Maybe you can choose someone else another time. But click on that purple button to gift a sub. Or you can use real money to cheer in the chat or gift a sub at any point during the stream, and it helps me keep the channel running and pay for StreamYard and maybe one day compensate my guests. Wouldn't that be nice? Yes. You also get a little crown next to your name in the chat, just like a few people here. Thank you. I love my new headphones. The model is called a Deva, just like one of the characters on Float City. So yeah, I picked headphones that were like from my show. Anyway, lots of really good links below to support me as a creator and the stream. But the one thing that you can do right now is tell folks that you're watching the show so they can join in on the fun. The more the merrier. And honestly, like, the chopped section at the end of the show is so much more fun when more people are contributing. So scroll down, you can check out all those links. And anyway, I want to get to my guest. I am very, very, very excited to welcome a longtime friend. Please welcome Emily.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great.
Great.
Emily, who are you? What's your deal?
That's also a great question. I wish I had an answer for you. So I'm Emily. I'm 27 years young, like long to be. No. Yeah. So I am. What do I do? I'm currently chronically unemployed, which a lot of us are, but that's okay. But so in my free unemployment time, I like to. Well, I'm a linguist, like linguist/linguistics person. So my field is linguistic anthropology. So basically I study like the who, what, when, where, and why of language, but language comes in all sorts of forms, right? So usually we think about language as something textual or something spoken, but it also relates to things like, signs or images or things like that, which is relevant for today's talk. And yeah, so I'm kind of an academic nerd in that sense, but also I recently have been making like crosswords and stuff too. And I've been
We have a
them.
lot of crossword fans in the chat, I think.
Yeah, so crosswords are great, lovely puzzles, and making them is really rewarding. So like literally, I guess earlier this week, I started like a crossword blog, and I don't know, it's just been fun to like throw all that together. So I guess in my spare time, I've been like, my deal is that I look at language all day, in any and all forms. So that's kind of my deal. Yeah,
I love it. And let's tell the folks how we know each other. How do we know each other?
Yeah, I think I've known you from well over a decade at this point.
Yes.
So both Jen and I were a part of like the chip music scene in New York City. I guess when did you start? Because I started in I think 2006, 2007.
You started before me. I started in 2008.
Okay, got it. So yeah, so I've known Jen for like 12, 13 years at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's just, music made from like old hardware, like Game Boys and NESs, and we were both running shows in New York for years. So we co-collaborators, and I've also helped her cater and stuff. Just a pleasure in general, and also a pleasure to work with. So, yeah, very happy to know Jen.
Gwem says, chip music.
Chip music? Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
indeed. Yes, indeed.
Exactly, Gwem. Also, hi, Gwem. Hope you're doing well. And hello, everybody. Hope y'all are doing well.
Yes, that's how I know Gwem too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, we got a fact here from David. Amazingly, Metal Gear Solid creator Hideo Kojima just posted a selfie wearing these same headphones.
You have good taste.
What?
No, those are cool headphones. I love anything like oversized like that.
Dang.
Are they warm?
No, they're just like soft over my ears. I needed studio quality for the podcast, so I was like, let's splurge.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing to splurge on.
Anyway, yes, that's how we know each other. We know each other through music, but we also bond through the internet and through a lot of things. And we're very dear friends. So thank you, Emily, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to talk about today's topic.
I am too. It's funny because like I feel like I was like, I have to do something weird. Like I want to do something like weird. And I was like, this is like a good thing to be weird about. So
I also think that food deserves a critical eye in this arena. Like I think that people let it fly by really easily and just take it at face value. So I look forward to our discussion about it.
I do too. Yeah.
But first, I'm going to share my screen and let's take a look at what people have sent in this week. So I did get a good amount of stuff from people, but since I have 2 streams, I saved a little bit of it for tomorrow. So if you don't see yours, don't worry. I think I got it, and I'll put it in the folder tomorrow. But if you didn't send me anything yet, you still have this opportunity to send me photos or video of food that you've made, food that you enjoy, or food that you're fascinated by or have questions about. You can either DM them to me on Twitter or Instagram or email me ramwitches@gmail.com. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to check it out. I promise my screen is not disgusting. Hello, I need to share it. Here we go. It gets meta for a second and then I swipe over and it's fine.
Yours may not be, but mine is. My desktop right now is like wasteland.
Oh, like the actual desktop?
Yeah, no, it's just like, yeah. No, like stuff like literally falling off to the side. Like that's how much stuff I have on my desktop.
Yeah, I try to keep it fairly tidy. I mean, the secret is the sort folder, which is a full mess, but yeah, you see I have a folder on the right that says sort. That's the mess. Yeah. But okay, let's check out what people have sent in this week. This is a quiche. Quiche Lorraine from my cousin Casey. So she is a occupational therapist in Las Vegas who is in grad school. And so she's kind of new to cooking, like during the pandemic. And so she texted me and said, like, what's a good like brunch thingy that's easy? And I was like, quiche Lorraine specifically. And so I sent over a Food 52 recipe for quiche Lorraine. Look at how it turned out. It looks great.
Lovely. Yeah.
Good job, Casey. We've also got, let's see. I have a lot of memes for some reason. This is from the Fun City Discord. Taylor Z, who is sometimes in our chat. Oh, I forgot. I always need to open the chat on my phone so that I can see. Sorry. I may have missed a few comments if you've commented recently. But Taylor Z made these carrot cake whoopie pies.
That sounds so good.
I never thought to do that.
So is it like
so
carrot
cool.
cake cookies, like soft ones, and like?
Yeah, so whoopie pies are like a Pennsylvania Dutch dish where you make like really cakey cookies. Technically, they're still cookies because they have this like flat cooked through bottom, but the texture is very soft and floofy.
Yeah.
And then the inside is usually an ice cream, not an ice cream, an icing, excuse me. Very thick icing or marshmallow fluff. Yeah. So, yeah, it sounds super good, right? I never would have thought. It's usually like chocolate vanilla. Like I've had a banana before, but like carrot cake, okay, I would try it.
Yeah, that looks so good.
Yeah, good job, Taylor Z.
Yeah,
looks good. We had an entry here from Sarah on Twitter. Grilled lemon herb chicken, avocado orzo salad with honey mustard bacon dressing. And yes, I really like avocado. I mean, generous. I tweeted something the other day about avocados. Like, you know how people refer to avocados as like the millennial like weakness or strife?
Yeah.
That we're all broke because of avocados.
Yeah.
It turns out alternative fats like avocados actually double your life expectancy. When you're speaking in context of foods that take away minutes from your life. So a big topic has been like hot dogs. Shave off 36 minutes of your life.
Yeah.
It turns out that avocados will add minutes to your life.
So if you put avocados on a hot dog,
it's evening out. It's right? Evening out.
Yeah.
And for all those people who are eating like avocado toast, it's like you're going to live longer than all the people criticizing you. So whatever.
Haters, our motivators.
Yes, right. And thank you, Sarah, for sending this in. Amazing. Yeah, sound logic. Thank you. Hot dogs with avo on top, for sure. Schmoss sent this one in. You might know him as Schmoss in the chat. Summertime means more Korean food. Cucumber kimchi and konggutsu. Looks good. And it has a nice setup here with the fermentation spigot up top.
Yeah.
I'm usually a wuss and don't have the room anyway, so I do like a fridge ferment, which is much slower. But room temperature ferment is faster and funkier, especially during the summer months because the temperature raises everything and there's more reaction and a party in there with all the, the microorganisms. So these look fantastic.
Also the setup. I appreciate the commitment to the setup here. Like you said, like just they're called spigots, you said, at the top?
Yeah, the top, yeah.
Intense.
Yeah. I also love this like left side barrel looking jar. Like you don't really see swing tops like that.
Yeah. Usually it's like the plastic pretzel jars that you see.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Great job, Schmoss. I know you might catch up later, but we're complimenting you now. I don't know why, but I snuck in a few memes. I've been watching a lot of One Piece, as you know. There's this really great meme on Instagram. Like One Piece is like a really long anime. It has 972 episodes. But like if you really think about it, Sesame Street has 4,561.
Elmo coming for One Piece's money.
Right. Yeah. Elmo.
Yeah.
Elmo is the real pirate king.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, absolutely.
So if you see One Piece memes, like please do send them to me because I'm obsessed. This is like minor spoiler alert for anyone who's listening to my podcast. And if you haven't caught up yet, like look away for 5 minutes. We have some really beautiful fan art about the finale. So I'm sorry if I'm like sharing the end, but at the end of the show, we have this very dramatic scene where a world is falling apart, and then our producer Mike, or our game master Mike, reads William Blake like this wonderful little short poem, "Ah Sunflower, Weary of Time." And somebody illustrated it, and it's just like the most beautiful
So sweet.
thing I've seen.
Yeah.
Like it's a full page, like that takes so much work. So like I appreciate you. What is your username? It's Aaron Volia. So shout out to Aaron Volia. You're amazing. I love it. My little Mercus looks so cool in this.
No, this is great.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful work. And then I think, yes, okay, so I have more anime and memes on my end. So the other day I was watching One Piece and I was eating beef tapa, which is a Filipino dish with an egg and garlic rice. So all that together is called tapsilog because beef tapa and then silog is like fried rice and an egg. So you have different kinds of silog. So we have like spam silog or long silog, which is longanisa. So this is a breakfast scene at my house. Usually I'm eating and watching One Piece most of the days. Yeah. I'm going to get through it. I'm so confident.
How many episodes do you usually watch in a day, or does it vary? Because I like see your thread and you're like,
it's a long thread.
Along. Yeah.
I know. I've seen over 330 episodes so far. I watched maybe.
So you've seen like
I just started in June. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. No, look. Yeah. That was like me with I finished The Sopranos in like 3 weeks.
I'm committed to it. Yeah. I have like a pace, but I'm actually off pace because I catered a wedding, and so I was not watching TV for 4 days. But I watch an average of 4 a day. Nice. But I do have like days when I'm recovering and brain dead, and I'll watch like 8, which is a lot for me. Like
sometimes you just gotta sit and like.
I just gotta sit. Yeah, true. But yeah, this stream is slowly turning into like One Piece fandom. Like. Yeah, there's like another meme. I don't care if there's over 900 episodes. One Piece is a good anime. Don't look at me like that. It's a great story in animation. I do this a lot.
Where do you find all these? Or are they sent to you? Do you
The algorithm is starting to send them to me now, which is really funny. I try to avoid it because there are a lot of spoilers. But it's all right. I mean, I don't mind. I like all the memes. There's one character I've been obsessed with. His name is Kaku. He's like in this CIA sort of organization called CP9. But he looks like Pinocchio in like nice outfits.
Yeah, the shoulder pads and the lapels on that jacket are incredible.
I started a Pinterest board of all of his outfits. So that I could wear them someday. Like he's actually like fit check, like hype beast.
Yeah. So, you can tell.
Yeah. I wanna dress like Kaku.
No, that's so good.
Even though he's a villain.
Look,
spoiler villain. Right? Yeah. Okay, enough One Piece. Actually, how inept men are. This was one of my other favorite screens.
Also, these are both looks too.
Very good looks.
The opera gloves, yes.
Oh, she I didn't even realize she was wearing opera gloves.
As an opera glove lover, I love a glove.
You do love a glove.
I do.
I remember
love a glove.
About you.
Love a glove.
This is one of my favorite fight scenes. Sanji, who's the cook, is fighting another chef, and he never uses his hands, and this is the first time he uses his hands.
Interesting.
Because he's like, wait, I can justify it because I'm using knives in a kitchen. Because he always doesn't want to hurt his hands because he wants to cook. And so he's always kicking people. But this is the first time he uses his hands.
Do chefs get their hands insured? Weird question.
Not specifically, but I should if I ever get to that point. But I do have... This is news for me, actually. I have, for the first time, an annual food liability policy. So I am covered if I get injured in the kitchen now.
Nice. Awesome.
Not just like event to event. Because I used to just get event-to-event insurance, but now I have like a full annual insurance that like covers me at home too. So that's really cool.
No, yeah.
I should add a certification or like a line item that says like specifically for my hands.
No, yes, like that's yes, I'm with it.
Also, this is why I'm in love with Sanji because he says "Pardon me for being saucy" and stuff like that all the time.
This is a mood.
Yeah, it's a mood. Yes, like he's my favorite character.
Yes.
Hands down. Yes, Gwem, it's true. The wedding stuff does look like it is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of lifting. Emily can speak to this as well. You know, you've worked events with me before. It's a lot of running around, bussing, lifting things, load in, load out, time coordination. Yeah, it's true. You're a professional when you have to start paying the government to just like do your job. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyway, let's talk about our big topic today. I'm so excited. Okay, so the topic today is what makes food cursed. Why did you want to talk about this, Emily?
Because
where to begin?
So recently, to be completely candid, I've had like some weird health stuff going on. So my relationship with food has changed a little bit. So I don't have like fun food stories to talk about with you.
Sure.
So this isn't a thing where I'm like, everybody has to experience this, but I was like, what is a good angle for food if I haven't been able to interact with food in the same way that I have in the past? So, and part of it too is like, because I've just kind of at home all day. Like I continually am seeing these posts like just on my discovered feed where it's like, just like this insane food stuff. And it's something that I've always been really interested in because it's like, y'all will see the pictures and kind of understand the kind of genre of what I'm talking about.
What we're going to be talking. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know. There's just something about it where like, I wanted to look into it more, like as an anthropologist and as someone who's like you said earlier, like, this is something that a lot of people take for granted in terms of like, oh, it's food. It's something we have all the time around us all day, every day. So it's not something that a lot of the time we think about. So like the way I operate is like asking dumb questions begets good answers. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I want to, my whole thing is just in general, I kind of want everybody about everything to be kind of more curious about the things that seem really mundane. Because there's more to it. Like this stuff, and as you'll see, like this stuff is pervasive, but it's something that you kind of like look at, absorb, and then forget about. But it's a genre in and of itself. So there's something that's going on here. It's not these one-off things.
Yeah. So we have a starting gun kind of question from Gwem about the cursed food. Are you, Emily, spiritual or religious? Does it have anything to do with that?
No. Okay, cursed. No, it's not like somebody's like putting a hex on a cheeseburger. Like it's not like that. So I also wanted to say here, as we go through it, like there's stuff that I consider cursed for certain reasons, but there's other stuff that other people may consider cursed, but that is not the scope of what I mean here, and that's not the scope of what we want to talk about here.
Sure. Yes. Specifically, Toria even in the chat says, if I have bad memories with food, it's cursed. And Gwem says, for me, chicken is cursed.
Is chicken cursed?
For Gwem specifically. I think that like everybody has their own specific context about these things.
Yeah, food that made you sick one time, and every time you even think about it, your stomach turns. That's cursed in a different sense. That's like personally cursed.
Yeah.
That's like in your own altar of self cursed. You know what I mean? No, but this is food that is like externally cursed.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Speaks with Animals says cursed in the internet sense as a
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's start it off. I'm going to pick randomly from the middle here.
Yeah, we got a lot to deal with. Oh, perfect. Okay.
There we are.
So these are just taken. I really spent like 2 hours like going through my like on Instagram. So like just in my search feed, it's just like hashtag food porn, hashtag like things like that. So a lot of the time you'll hear things like this called like food porn, but this to me is like wholly unappetizing.
Yes.
So here when we talk about cursed, I want to make two things clear. I don't mean things that are cursed where it's like, like, oh, chicken feet or like, oh, cow heart or something like that. That is not the scope of what we're talking about here. Those are like things that are meant to be eaten. Those are nutritious. And even if they weren't nutritious, those are things that are
culturally
edible,
important.
Culturally
in certain areas. Yeah.
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 So that's not what we're talking about here either. And the other thing too, when I talk about cursed, this is not any sort of judgment on caloric intake or anything like that. This has nothing to do with like portion size. I mean, it has something to do with portion size.
Some portion size, yeah.
Yeah, sense of portions. The issue here with this is cursed not because it's large, it's because it's excessive.
Yes.
This you can't even take this home. You can't get this in a doggy bag because by the time you get this home, the bottom of the plastic bag is soaked through and there's a hole in it. Like this is this is something else entirely.
Yeah, we're getting some reactions in the chat. Speaks with Animal says, who let Fieri in? David is asking, I want to know how you take a bite. which will lead me to something I have to say about this. Toria says, I wonder how much of the climate crisis that specific burger caused. Very cursed. Yes, true. So for me, what is cursed about it is that it is at such excess and that it is defeating the purpose of what it originally is supposed to be. Like, is completely defeating the purpose of being a hamburger.
Exactly.
Hamburgers are supposed to be convenient.
This is not convenient.
This is not convenient. You will need, a fork and a knife. Several people will need to tackle this thing. Like, it is excess. This is incredibly excessive.
Yes.
I mean, I am fascinated by it because I do love the flavors. Like, I love cheese, I love bacon, I love burgers. The brioche, the bun is an egg washed brioche bun with some chunky salt on it. There's fried onions on the bottom half. I do feel sorry for that lettuce down there at the bottom.
Yeah, I kind of didn't even realize it was there until I'm like, what is that thing at the bottom? I'm like, oh, that's lettuce.
Is this a Big Mac or is it two separate sandwiches? I think it might be two, just stacked on each other. Because we can't even see the bottom bun.
It looks Big Mac in form.
There's two buns in the middle.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even. I literally didn't even see that.
It looks like it's merged, into this.
Yeah.
This, Java thing.
A Cronenberger.
A Cronenberger.
No.
Let's see. Toria asks, "What if you shared it with 8 mates and some tinnies? Then is it best? Is it blessed?"
I would say it's blessed, but it's more. I think it's more manageable. So, back to your point on excess, I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with the French philosopher / semiotician Roland Barthes.
Please explicate.
Okay. So, some of the research that I've done, some of the earliest linguistic research I've done is on trash talk and professional wrestling. So he talks about wrestling as it's not a sport, right? Because it's not a sport, right? The goal of sport is to win. And, it's first of all, the outcome isn't predetermined, usually in sport. It's not a sport, it's a spectacle. Wrestling is something to look at. The point of wrestling is not, this guy wins or this guy wins. The winning is about creating a larger story arc. It's not a single one-off thing. It's not a boxing match. Wrestling is
That's why there's so much showboating and
exactly
walkout music and intimidation. That makes sense.
The spiel, right? It's about the spiel. It's about the pitch. It's about the delivery. And this is wrestling. This is just wrestling. This burger is wrestling. Cursed food is wrestling. In the sense of the goal orientation of this food is not to be eaten. It is not a thing where
nourishment. It's not nourishment.
It's spectacle. It's this thing where you order this burger and it comes out on this. Because think about this: if you order this at a restaurant,
you're whoa,
exactly. This has the fajita effect, right?
Yes, it does. The sizzle.
The sizzle, where it's you hear it before you see it, right? And then everybody kind of turns around and orients their attention to this.
What is that? I want that.
Yeah, well, if I saw this, I'd be like, oh my God,
no.
Oh my God, my food is gonna be fucked up. I don't want to. No, but it's this thing where it's it comes out. There's this procession. Oh, there's a parade for this fucking burger. I'm being dramatic, but that's what I do as a Gemini and as an anthropologist.
Yeah. I do enjoy that specific parade sometimes.
Sure. Of course.
I'm a sucker for a bucket of nachos, Speaking of Guy Fieri, he's my senpai. So I have a few things that I let pass, but some things like this are just too much.
This defeats the purpose because I'm all down for parade. I'm all down for pomp. I'm all down for the fajita. You hear the sizzle, and then the whole restaurant turns to look at it, blah blah blah, and it's this performance of the food, and then you eat it, and it's fine. It's food, But
it's food.
It's edible. You can sit there with a fork and a knife and eat it, and even if it's a large portion, you can share this with people, and it has that sense of nourishment. This defeats the of nourishment. It's food. It's food in a literal sense.
It will feed you, but yeah. A burger is supposed to be you should be able to just bite into it. But this, as as David said earlier, how would you bite into this? You can't.
You can't. You can't. You can unhinge your jaw, and if you can unhinge your jaw, you have bigger issues.
Damn.
Yeah.
Toria says, "Oh no, is there going to be a cursed sweet food?" I think so. I think you have something to look forward to.
I forget what I put in here.
Yeah, it's all right. Yes, bucket of nachos. So there's a very specific I don't know. I feel like it's American tourism that does this a lot at Guy Fieri's restaurant, which is now closed, but also more famously at Margaritaville. Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville has a mountain of nachos, and people think this is an appetizer.
But
I wish I had grabbed a photo of it for you, but dang.
what are the pragmatics of a mountain of nachos, though? Because then isn't it just all cheese on the top and then you have dry chips under it?
I think some people who are really good at this layer it.
Okay, I would imagine. Yeah, I was wondering. I wasn't sure.
But yeah, people who don't care, well, you can tell. You can tell when people don't care if they just put everything on top and they're like, "You've never had a nacho, have you?" You know?
Yeah, that's the other thing about food that feels cursed. Not only is it excessive, but it's not excessive in the same way that like your grandma gives you large portions where she's like, "Did you eat?" and she'll just like throw all this. It's this thing where it's kind of done without love, and the point
Without
is
love, yes.
spectacle.
Loveless spectacle, yo.
Yeah, it's loveless spectacle. Where wrestling, I would argue, is full of love, right? It's this thing where it's like, you know, you're putting on a show for other people to enjoy. This comes out, it's a single instance, and the 30 seconds you have, it's done, you know?
You know,
I
don't have a lot of opinions about wrestling, but you're right. I do feel a lot of affection in the wrestling community for the spectacle. That's so funny you said that. Wow.
No, it's the suspension of disbelief. I don't know if you've ever seen this video of, this is my last tangent. I don't know if you've ever seen
I love it.
Of like, I forget if it was like, it wasn't like high school wrestling, but I think it was like in a high school gym, because the indie shows they'll put on at like a gym or a church or a VFW hall or something like that. So it's like this older man on the bleachers, and he's just like crying when wrestling's happening. And like, it's like a very short, or the clip is really short. And he's just like, "It's real to me." Yeah, because he's like, "It's real to me, damn it." And it's just like every time I talk about wrestling, like I channel that man.
That's
like,
amazing.
My goal is to tell everybody on wrestling.
This is how I feel about cheese. Yeah.
Yeah.
David says there was a recent wrestling event that was super about friendship and love. You're totally right. Yeah. Just one more tangent about wrestling. Have you seen photos of the Bolivian women wrestlers?
No.
Oh my gosh. I saw it in a food documentary because it's like a national pastime. But these women wrestlers in Bolivia wear the hats, you know, and they wear full dresses and like pumps. And it's
what hats are you talking about?
There's this very specific like Bolivian bowler hat that they wear.
I'm not familiar. I'll look into it.
But yeah, I'll show it to you. But it's incredible to watch. Like wow. Seeks with Animal says, yes, it's not excessive in the comforting way soul food is. It's like a simulacrum of what soul food tries to accomplish. Maybe that dichotomy makes it cursed.
Yeah,
it's a good point.
I think that's a good point. Yeah,
very good point. Let's see what's over here. Oh boy. Eat or pass. Accounts like this don't really help in the cursed arena because they are, you know, promoting it and giving it more exposure. And then people like sound off about hating or loving something. And it reminds me of the early internet, might be before your time. Hot or Not. Do you remember this?
Oh, was this? I feel like it was like I know what you're talking about, but I don't know like in what context in particular.
So it was like, before Facebook. So Facebook originally was like also rating if somebody was hot or not.
Yeah.
But Hot or Not was a browser based, just like upload your photo and people will vote up or down if you're hot or not. And it's kind of like that same like concept, of just loveless spectacle. The internet is just loveless spectacle. Oh my God.
I cracked something wide open. No, but this picture, here's the other thing. So there's also like genres within this sub, and also the other point here, none of these people would call this food cursed. No, like this chef on Andrew, whatever is on his name, he wouldn't call this cursed. You know, this is his, you know. But there's kind of a genre of this where it's like posing with the food, but then there's another genre of this where they're like interacting with and performing with the food, where it's this thing that it loses, like, you know, there's like that restaurant experience kind of, and Jen, I think you could definitely speak more to that than I could in terms of like
showmanship,
food. Yeah, showmanship. And also here, not showmanship, but also kind of professionalism in with those showmanship, because he has his gloves on, he has his
I
chef
must
jacket
be an
on.
expert because I'm
Yeah.
shoving a ton of cheese onto these fries.
Yeah, so it's, you know, it's like this half this wheel of cheese that I think they use like a torch or whatever to kind of melt, and then it's just all this on the fries, and like this, I don't know, looking at this makes me feel physically sick. Like, and it's just with the amount of cheese, like me personally, I would like
It's a lot.
this would fuck up my weekend. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a good look for me.
So we have some comments that we want to catch up on here.
Yeah.
Ochirobo, welcome to the chat. What is even going on? Is that cheese? Let me explain what it is.
Yeah.
So there is a Swiss practice called raclette. It shares the same name as the cheese. It's a Swiss cheese called raclette. It's actually becoming very popular because of this. It's quite expensive because Swiss cheese is usually made in the winter and harvested in the spring, you know, from the cows having babies and all that. Traditionally in Switzerland, the suggested serving for raclette is boiled potatoes because, you don't have a lot of farm produce during the winter, and you've got this huge wheel of cheese for survival. You melt some of it. You cut the whole wheel in half, so it's like a circle, right? You cut the whole wheel in half. You get a half moon that is exposed cheese, and you use like a heating element, or you put coals or whatever. You heat that open side, and you scrape the cheese onto the boiled potatoes. So in the U.S. and in cursed food culture, they have decided to start putting raclette on everything.
Everything.
On everything. And so it sort of defeats the purpose of enjoying the raclette cheese by using fried foods. Because boiled potato absorbs all of that salt and beautiful, like, oniony aromatics from the cheese. But you're kind of losing that if you have salted French fries underneath. And have too much cheese proportion to the food that's underneath it. So for me, on a technical level, this is upsetting that you're wasting this very expensive cheese on chips or French fries.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to that excess where it's like, yeah, I think the other thing too is, I forgot what I was going to say, but it's like, it's interesting too that you have that frame of reference for this, where I think a lot of people who like, I didn't like,
you
I
wouldn't
heard
know
the term
looking at
raclette
it
before. Yeah, I wouldn't have known that was like a Swiss practice or anything. But like, I've seen this like on pasta and blah blah blah, and like any and all things you can imagine. And yeah, it's also, so I was reading something earlier today also about the mixture of aesthetics and aesthetics as this manifestation of capitalistic practices, right? So like how we've arrived here at this thing, you know, like how we've arrived at like this hyper capitalistic, hyper consumptive, hyper excessive thing, from something where it's like you have to save your cheese for the winter. There's like a very long kind of string of things here where a lot of stuff has kind of been taken out of context and recontextualized into something that is entirely different. And now you have French fries, which kind of harkens back to the potato thing, but like you said, they're fried, they're salty,
not the same.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see too, kind of like the reappropriation of this stuff into different spheres of monstrosity.
And I have a theory about this specific thing. Like, Switzerland is actually kind of an expensive place to be a tourist. And some rich New York guy like went and had raclette for the first time. It was like, why don't I open a whole restaurant dedicated to this in Manhattan? And now it's like this viral sensation. I know this is not specifically from that place, but raclette has been popularized because of this like restaurant, and people not really knowing anything about the cheese. And it's so interesting, and it's a very like New York or LA, like coastal, like big city trend to make a restaurant all about one thing. So there's like a place called Raclette in Manhattan where they pour cheese on everything, and it's just this huge spectacle. And you're like, yeah, okay, I could just buy the cheese and melt it on the things too. But yeah, there's like, it closed, but there was a restaurant called Potatotopia, which was all like a potato bar, basically, which is fun. But, there's this really interesting trend of separating out specific foods from the context of like the culture.
Yeah, and I think too that ties into things like novelty as well. I mean, this clearly is the whole point of this. There's excess in novelty where it's like, oh, look at this little tchotchke thing. Like this feels like tchotchke, trinkety a little bit in that sense to me, where there's like this. I forget where I was going with this. but regardless too, like you had mentioned, where it's like this dude goes to Switzerland, finds this thing, blah blah blah, whatever, and comes back, and now suddenly he's the expert on this too. So there's also, I feel like with a lot of this stuff too, there's kind of this built-in idea of like connoisseurship and expertise. But it's like, but again, if somebody who does have the connoisseurship and expertise to know where this is coming from would not be doing things like this. And this isn't to say that things can't be, updated and renewed and done in new ways, but when you have them for these kind of like really excessive, monstrous, I keep saying monstrous, but that's how it feels to me. Like when you have them kind of like appropriated in these ways where it's just like really dark. Like this is dark to me. Like I see this and I'm like, oh my God, the American empire is crumbling. Like this is like I mean it isn't anyway, but like this is both the bread and circus of bread and circus. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like this is
yes.
Like this is a little bit of both there. Like this is a lot of circus and a little bit of bread.
Your mind. I love it.
But yeah, so things like that's why these things feel cursed to me, because they're these loveless things that people just produce because they're these spectacles and they want to bring people in, and
it's not about enjoying the food.
Yeah, it's not about enjoying the food. It's about, that moment that fajita moment, right? Where it's just like, whatever. And then you have that, and you have, there's something to be said about buying an experience, but this is like not an experience that I personally would pay money for. But I pay money to go see wrestling. So who knows?
There you go.
Whatever. But
we all have our things.
Exactly. So I digress, but yeah.
Catch up in the chat. Speaks with Animals says, reminds me of that guy on TikTok that blew up by just wasting a lot of food.
Yeah, there's mad people.
A lot of these, I mean, raclette is a cheese that seizes up when it's cold. So if you don't finish it, it's just going to be like this gluey mess that you don't want to eat later.
This is paper mache in 5 minutes. This just turns into a piñata in 5 minutes. Like that's literally what this is.
Yeah, deconstructed fondue, opposite fondue. That's what it is.
Yeah, reverse fondue.
Yeah, sorry to make everybody physically sick. I should send all of you Lactaid.
Sorry that it was my idea to make you all look at this. But.
Yeah, served at Versailles. Thank you, Martin.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
I want to do the video before we forget.
Yeah. This video made me feel like.
Whoa.
That's
a game hen.
Yes. I didn't even catch it the first 5 times I watched this. Because there's so much and I'm somebody who's like pretty detailed. I didn't even see them put a whole stupid bird in that.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. I need to rewind. I'm going to turn the sound down. I don't know. Did you hear the sound?
I did, yeah.
Okay. That means everybody heard the sound. So I'm going to rewind it. I want to see this again.
So this is just a screenshot.
So it's a bread with pasta, a really liquidy looking pasta. So it's linguine and then a cheese sauce on top that was from another pan and the bird.
And again, the performance of letting it drip.
How do you eat this?
How do you eat more morally, pragmatically?
Pause it right here. Like,
how do you eat this? Yes,
it's a waste. Yeah, everybody in the chat's going, no.
Yeah.
Would this exist without TikTok?
But you have to look at it. You gotta
look at it. All right, don't look away. Don't look away. I know it's gross.
It is very gross.
It is not appetizing. So, from the technical standpoint, that holder is usually for French fries.
Like architecturally, this is like somebody call OSHA, because this is a nightmare.
Somebody call OSHA.
Nightmare. Like this is a nightmare. Sorry to interrupt, but
perfect. Getting more reactions from the chat. David says, "I bet it feels weird in your mouth too." Why would you put fries in that? No, I mean like the container is usually just for fries.
Yeah, this is
like the wire container is usually for fries. But oh no, we got an interruption.
Oh no, what happened?
We got a bunch of gift subs from my friend JV. Thank you, Hiccup Truck, for gifting a ton of subs to the chat. Thank you so much. Everybody, please enjoy that. And he also redeemed channel points for 5 minutes of Marcus voice.
Okay, you have to do that. I can't do that.
It's okay. we're gonna set a timer for 5 minutes.
This is a great time to redeem this.
Shut up.
No, just like going into your expertise in that voice. Love it.
Yeah.
I'm ready when you are.
So, fuck. We're getting some eggs in the chat. My question is, how do people physically eat this? Because you would need a fork and a spoon, I think, to do a fork, a spoon, and a knife, right? Because you're trying to get the noodlies from the spork and the spoon, the spork and the spoon, the fork and the spoon, and then you need a knife for the bird, right?
I'm tempted to do a voice, but I don't think
You are welcome to do a voice.
I don't think I can. I think
Little Marcus speaks like this, and his voice just cracks a lot.
It's beautiful. It's brilliant. Yeah. So pragmatically, how do you eat this? Like, also, like, how do you bring this out to the table? Like, here now that I'm looking at it, it looks like they kind of dress it in front of you, which is fucked up. I don't know. Like, if I saw this, I would like. I'm thinking about like if I was at a restaurant and this happened either at my table or at a neighboring table, I would be like, somebody made a really bad decision today.
I just noticed that the table is a folding table.
You could get a tablecloth.
Yeah, there's no tablecloth on this.
Again, this loveless spectacle of like they couldn't get like a plastic tablecloth to like wipe down later or something, you know? And also just like first of all, the colors of all of this are entirely
awful, just very entirely unappetizing.
Like they couldn't throw in scallop, like they couldn't. It's an Italian restaurant. Throw in some base, like something, you know, like.
What purpose do the skewers have at the top of the chicken?
To pick up satellite.
Like, do you think you just grab the chicken and try to like without it swinging and hitting your face? You know, because you hold skewers, they might like fall down or something like that. Yeah. Why are the skewers there?
I wish I had an answer for you. This video, like I've watched this video so many times, and it's just like broken me as a human being.
It's just logistically, it makes me crazy because you've got the parchment paper on a very elaborate stand, but you've got this saucer on the bottom that gets really messy and you get pasta onto the stand. So people have put their hands all over the stand and it's overflowing and there's no tablecloth. Like, this is the worst.
No, yeah, it's really gross. And like, I don't know, like I think about this a lot too, where I'm like, when people go to buy, like who is the intended audience for this? Because if you're a restaurateur and you concoct these monstrous things and you perfect them, right? There's a lot that goes into recipe testing, and you're like, oh, this is great. Also, aren't hens supposed to be like a very delicate food, where it's like, well, maybe not delicate, but they're like, I don't know.
Roasted and presented in a nice way, usually flat on a surface.
Yeah, like what is it? You like kind of not splay them out. What is it called? Like
spatchcocking.
Spatchcock. Yeah, you spatchcock it, and then it's out, and you have like maybe some nice potatoes and like rosemary. And they're usually elegant, I think is the word I'm looking for.
I don't think this is
really elegant, I feel like. And this is just like
I don't think this presentation is challenging anyone in any way or functionally making it better to consume the hen. But I mean, I do see the merit in stuffing a bread. I love a stuffed bread. That it's an old thing, having trenchers of bread. That is normal. But this, it doesn't make it easier to eat. That's my big problem with it.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Just catching up.
Oh,
sorry. Continue.
No, you continue.
Catch up here in the chat. Thank you everybody for all the eggs in the chat. And yes, it's true. It is September on Twitch. That means, you know, we're encouraging people to subscribe to your favorite creators, and now you all have a month subscription from JV. Thank you, JV. We actually will be rating JV's channel after this, so please stick around after we end, and we will go say hello. And I'll share some subs also, which will be really fun. Nice. Martin says, imagine you bringing this to a neighbor's potluck. Oh, my 5 minutes is up. Thank you for that and your patience.
If my neighbor brought this to potluck, I would add another lock on my door.
I'd be like, you're cleaning that up. You are reimbursing me for my tablecloth cleaning.
Also, again, with the potluck, like, how do you eat? Like, it's not a thing where it's like, you know, it's in an aluminum foil. Like, how do you?
Can you imagine being that showboat ass person that makes a mess on your friend's table?
No, like, it'd be disrespectful. Like,
it's so disrespectful.
It's like, oh, I brought. Also, so this is also called. I should say that this is called a fat baby.
Why?
I don't know. So also for context, this is at a restaurant, I think somewhere in Vegas. So again, the kind of like this,
that makes sense.
This like showiness, all this, like there's a lot of,
but
like,
it's very poorly executed.
Yeah, like
I would not do this platter.
I wouldn't either. Again, like you said, it's not the bread itself. So you're familiar with like the emergent property in biology, right? Where like the sum of the parts is like greater than its whole.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great example of that. It's not the hen that bothers me. It's not the pasta. The pasta is like a little weird looking. It's not the bread. It's not the presentation. It's all of it into this like
together. Yes.
Yeah, like this. I don't know. This feels like a sleep paralysis demon. Like that. This is what mine looks like. I don't know.
Toria says, imagine having to wash the stand. Yes. It belongs in the Escheresque, which is the other dimension in my podcast. The next step is tossing cheese-laden onion rings on the skewers. I'm surprised they didn't finish it that way.
I am too, actually.
Maybe the TikTok format cut it off. Like maybe maybe they were supposed to.
But,
Toria says, no, I see it. It looks like a fat baby vomiting. I'm sorry, everybody.
It does look like puke. I didn't want to say it, but it does. I'm glad
it's the opposite of a gestalt. And David says, if the pasta were in a small bowl, it would feel much less cursed. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if these were all separate, it wouldn't be so cursed. It
wouldn't be so cursed.
So this also kind of, as I've been reading just about like material culture and things like that. So this makes me think of like Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Oh, yes.
Things like this would be something like in a Ripley's museum. And then also like dating back to like the 1500s and 1600s, there are these things called like cabinets of curiosities. Where like basically,
the earliest museums are
the earliest museums, exactly. So
yeah.
This feels like something that like an Italian explorer would like bring back from the depths of the ocean and like put in a cabinet somewhere to like show off to whoever comes to his house and be like,
look,
when I went exploring, I found this thing, you know, and it would just be this chicken stuffed in a bread bowl stuffed in a like it would just be this.
Emily, can we make an installation cursed foods in a cabinet of curiosities?
Yeah.
Like a hot box of it, like it's all warm and stuff.
Yes.
And maybe you press a button and the cheese comes glopping down.
Interactive. No, okay. So I've been thinking a lot about like cabinets of curiosities and just like so interestingly, there's also like a linguistic anthropologist who did an article, not recently, but like recently, I read it recently about like porcelain and things like that. And like kind of like the history of porcelain and how that's kind of been like a social object and how that's kind of changed over time. It's really good. It's really interesting.
You're so right. Because my mother, so speaking of cabinets of curiosity, my mother collects yadro, which
I'm
are
not
the
familiar with that.
Spanish. It's a Spanish porcelain company, and so she
Oh.
goes out of her way to find lladros. It's double Ladro. If you have older folks in your family or
Interesting.
Asian or Spanish people in your family, you might know what this is. Lladro. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it's true. Time to apply for an arts grant. Let's do it. I mean, Emily, you got time, right?
Drag me. No, I do.
kidding.
You're right.
I'm kidding.
No. These. You've
Let's
seen these.
get to
right?
it. I've seen these.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you seen the video where like some dude? I don't think he's actually a food person. I think he's like a rich guy masquerading as a food person, and he looks like he smells like cheap cologne. Do you know who I'm talking about? Okay.
No, I mean I don't know the specific person, but I have seen these before.
Yeah. Okay. So I think there's like a restaurant somewhere in New York that like makes these. I'm not sure what or anything, but so this dude goes to this restaurant. These wings at this restaurant cost $1,000, I think, a plate.
Yes.
Because they're chicken wings that are covered in gold, and then
gold leaf.
Gold leaf, and then I don't know if you can see on the little silver container they give, full of like I would imagine like not sour cream, but like something
like an aioli or a mayo or something like that.
While they're like fully wiping it down, like it's dirty. Do you see on the side on the top left one? Like there's just some schmutz on it.
Oh yeah.
It's not even, so you're paying $1,000 for a plate of gilded chicken wings. They couldn't even wipe that down. And then in this video, the dude takes a bite into one of the drums, I think, and it's raw.
Oh hell no!
It's raw.
Hell
chicken.
No!
Raw
Does he
chicken.
say that, or do you see it?
You see it, and I think he like chews it and swallows it. So this, for the sake of this viral video, this person pays $1,000 for. Well, I don't know if they paid for it or if it's like a thing
for
that
food poisoning.
Yeah, for serious food poisoning.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's this thing too where it's not only excessive spectacle, but it's hollow excessive spectacle.
Yeah.
Because this restaurant where you're gonna, in theory, be dropping $1,000 doesn't know how to make a fucking chicken wing. I'm sorry, but like but it's like.
That's disappointing. That's
not to get like Gordon Ramsay on it, where it's like you don't know how to make a chicken wing, you idiot. But like if I'm paying,
if you're paying $1,000, yeah, you better know how to make a chicken wing.
For chicken wings for the cheapest. Well, maybe not the cheapest, but like for meat,
a relatively cheap protein. Yes.
Yeah, like So this I always think of that. I couldn't find the actual video, which I would have shared and like. Maybe
no, it's okay. Like, I don't need to.
But yeah, no, yeah. But it's like it's. I mean, things like this too. Like it's just.
Toria's like, I've got gold food spray paint. I'll make you gold chicken wings.
Does $5. Spray paint for him?
We have like food grade spray paint, but this photo is definitely gilded with gold leaf, which I have worked with before,
and it's finicky, isn't it?
And it's very finicky. It's very staticky, actually. Yeah. You need tweezers. It's not something that you can like use your hands and pat all over. You use tweezers because it's just so thin and delicate, and it like waves in the wind. It's like how bonito like moves on its own.
Yeah.
So the gold leaf is extremely hard to work with. So it's not only the cost of the gold, it is the time. It's the cost of time to actually get it onto the wings. It probably takes forever.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better about getting paid for labor and not just the leaf. You know what I mean? Like that makes sense to me. I hadn't considered that. But but then by the time it gets to you, it's cold.
That is so disappointing. Yeah, because if you were to keep it under a warmer, you would see the oil seeping out from under it.
And then it ruins the gold effect.
So that's why it's raw. Oh, wow. Oh my God.
$1,000.
What a travesty.
Yeah, so these wings are going to be ice cold too.
Yeah. Damn.
So like at least with the fat baby thing, it's coming out of the pan.
Yeah, you see it coming out.
At least that'll be hot.
Yeah.
So with this, you not only potentially run the risk of salmonella from it being undercooked, but you run the risk of food poisoning from it being out for a long time.
Yes, true.
So
which is a 2-hour limit when it hits the unsafe temperature, which is below 140.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Paying $1,000 for food poisoning. Love it.
Okay, catch up in the chat with Speaks with Animals, gilded both literally and figuratively. Gwem says these are the very definition of ostentatious, and it's amazing they aren't even well cooked. I know it's a crime, really. Yeah. And this brings me to a really interesting topic within this category of cursed food. salvageability. So, you know, you will experience cursed food no matter what. Like, you're going to be with family sometimes, or friends, and someone's going to order the thing. I'm always fascinated with what you can do with it when it comes home, because it's, you know, not, you know, it's cold now, it's in pieces. Can you separate it out anymore? Like, this is not very salvageable.
No.
No. It's just like a lot of gold in a to-go box.
Yeah, and then if it's in the to-go box, you got like the paper and stuff at the bottom, and it's just like you have the leaf all over them. But like this pragmatically is a nightmare, and that's part of it too, where it's like, you know, like it's like, you ever see like a celebrity's like closet, the inside of a celebrity's closet, where they're like, this is all my Birkins.
Yeah, right.
And it's just like, that's a $30,000 bag, and you have a million.
Multiple, yes.
Yeah, and like, you know, like, nobody should be paying that much money for anything, but one versus a million, and then to have them not as a thing where it's like you're using it to like carry stuff around it, but it's like literally on display for like HGTV to like come in your house or whatever. You know, like this feels like that. Where it's
we're
like
opening the closet.
We're opening the closet. We did it because we could.
We're opening Mariah's closet.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, there's something to be said about like I have tons of shit that I don't wear, but I'm also not a fucking millionaire buying, you know, $1,000 raw chicken wings.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. So the previous fat baby dish, I think, is pretty salvageable because it has disparate parts.
The bread might be a little funky.
The bread might be a little funky, but that's not the end of the world. Yeah. What was the first one? It was the burger. The burger kind of salvageable, maybe, because it has like all those layers. Weird, The bun is weird. Yes.
And the onion rings.
And the onion ring.
Oi,
oi.
Yeah.
Chris is in the chat. Thank you for subscribing again. Hello, my beautiful BBs. Also, Flomaine is in the chat. Nice to see you. Also, hello. Hi, everybody. Toria is trying to think of how to improve this, but all you can imagine is gold leaf steak tartare. That's funny. Gold leaf craft singles.
The gold off.
Yeah, it can be improved by not having the gold.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a puppy emote. Thank you. So cute. Yeah, wow. So this is a travesty.
Yeah,
on a lot of levels.
I agree.
Let's try to squeeze in one more here. Do you have a preference? We have dog cake. We have hot dog cake. We have spaghetti sandwich. We got more pasta.
Actually, no. Let's do the pasta one, because I have a question for you about that one.
This one.
Yes.
Okay. What is
So
crazy?
This is going to sound like a weird question. This is probably not going to be as cursed IRL.
Oh, yeah.
So this is cursed not because of like what it is, but because of the way that this was presented, and like the flash, and like this looks like a cryptid. This looks like a spaghetti. Like this looks like something out of like, I don't know, Paranormal Activity or something. So my question for you, and I've noticed this a lot in like Instagram ads that I get with food and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like specifically over the course of the pandemic, I've seen food photography just like go completely downhill. Where there's like even like where it's things like, oh, we have a burger, and it's just like this little, like, it's the most unappetizing thing I've ever seen. Like, there's not any like effort or love put into it. It's just kind of this thing where it's like, well, we need to make an ad, so we're just going to do it. And then also, I think a lot of the one of the aesthetic themes with a lot of this curse stuff is that if you go through these Instagrams, they like edit the filters on the picture in a way where it messes with the saturation and creates like this kind of like these uncanny. Yeah, these uncanny shadows, and like they change like the yellows and the reds, and it's gruesome. It's like it's visceral, and I kind of just wanted your input on like food styling and like how, like what makes things look good, and also if you have any sort of like info as to why like. I got an ad the other day for like Thomas English muffins, and I love English muffins, but it's this thing where it's like they're trying to like cutify it and like novelty, make this stuff like novel. So it's this thing where it's like, what was it? It was like English muffin buffalo chicken tacos, and that's not like necessarily egregious, but it's this thing where it's like an English muffin with like buffalo chicken salad in it, and then like folded, and then they put a toothpick through it and like put it at an angle to give it like this like. Guy Fieri flair or whatever.
Kind of flair, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just
I definitely know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There is a certain class of ad buys that happen on Instagram that are lower in quality. It's as if they're lowering the register of vocabulary
Yeah.
in food photography. And
Yes.
I think it is a marketing thing. It's
Yeah.
like trying to be relatable to home cooks or people who are new to being home cooks, especially because of the pandemic. So that means shitty lighting, basic plates, like college level plates. And this specifically is trying to be fancy. Like I can see it trying to be, because that's a restaurant trick where you you get a giant spoon, you do the big like nest of pasta, but it's usually wider and standing up straight. Like this is on its side and too long. So I see what they're trying to do, but it's very not well done. It's like very dirty looking.
Yeah, with all the pepper on the top too, and then with the flash.
Yeah, the flash is pretty egregious. It's pretty bad. I wish Chris was here to just like pipe in. Chris was my designer friend that was on the show a couple months ago, and he would talk to us about things that make things look balanced. So like a lot of food photography looks at symmetry or purposeful asymmetry, and the rule of thirds, which is if you've ever taken a photo on a camera, you can turn on and off that grid that makes those 9 boxes. And so you can pull focus of people's eyes if you do anything in any square or at any intersection in that grid. So for this, it's like slightly askew. So it kind of is following that rule of thirds, but it's still like the angle is too far back, you know?
Yeah. Because like I can see in my mind's eye just somebody being like this, you know, like with their phone, just like, I don't know.
Yeah. It does remind me of the early days of when our phones weren't so fancy.
Right, yeah, exactly. And a lot of this stuff too harkens back to that too, where it's like, if you're as nosy as I am, and if you ever like scroll all the way back into someone's Instagram, you know how you get those reds and those yellows that come out with like, the flares with like the early, like that's how I personally.
We loved filters. Yeah, we loved filters in the beginning.
We did. Sure. Yeah, and like even in my own Instagram, I'm just like, what was I doing? You know, but it was the thing.
It's okay. So there's another complicated thing with this is, you know, there's also another trend of just maximalist charcuterie and cheese boards, and most of the time there's also like a political alignment also with this. Like you damn liberals and all your cheese and all your avocados.
I didn't realize that like that stuff fell into the avocado discourse.
Sometimes, yeah. So a lot of this food that is beautifully styled and Instagram pretty has another association, which is class and politics, which is really interesting because you see these people railing against it like,
I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, this is like too much food, too much waste. You dumb liberals spending all this money. And it's like, wow, okay. It's fascinating. But I can see who this photo appeals to, you know, if you think about it in that context.
I know exactly who. Right. Because I grew up on Long Island, so.
Right. You know. Yes.
Not to give it away, but you know.
Oh dang. I'm sorry I missed a bunch of the chats, everybody. Stepped away for a bit. What the fuck are we looking at? Yeah, this is just some pasta that is just like slapped onto the plate. Actually, I do want to look at really quick.
Somebody mentioned a sweet this? Okay, yeah.
I want to look at this.
Okay, that's great. So this is a little bit different. I think this is a different category of curse.
Not the kind of curse we're talking about.
Yeah, this is curse. I guess it looks like some sort of mayonnaise pie or something. So initially,
or a dip.
Yeah, something. Initially, I was like, let's talk about aspics and like 50s, 60s, like post-war type of food. Because, you know, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like historically, you know, people were kind of just like, you know, that's when like the nuclear family.
This is what we have.
Yeah, this is what we have. So we're just going to put Jell-O in everything. And like, oh my God, your neighbors are going to come over and you're going to make this like lovely Jell-O hot dog. And your neighbors are going to be like, wow,
you're so creative.
Yeah. So if you ever like looked at older recipes or whatever, you know, that's kind of harkens back to this. But this is clearly a more modern thing. And this is cursed because it's cursed. Like this is just bad. This is, this is like a flavor profile, like sinks like a rock in your stomach thing.
Yes.
But yeah.
Not nutritious. Do you have any idea what's inside of it?
It looks like it looks like mayonnaise, but if that's all mayonnaise, like
I don't think it would stand up like that.
I don't either, unless it's like froze. Like I
think it would be blessed if it was potato.
That would be okay.
It would be delicious. Yeah. I'd be okay with that. If it was like
potato,
an absorbent carb, something that is not salty or pickly.
Yeah.
Because these two flavors are already like on their own, very powerful. And so
that would make sense to me.
I would love a contrast, but I have a feeling it is not a contrast.
I agree. I think it's
I have a feeling.
I feel like I forget exactly where I got this picture, but I saw it and I was like, this speaks to me. This speaks to me in a language I don't quite understand, but I feel it in my heart. I think it's probably some sort of aspic-y thing. And if y'all aren't familiar with aspics, like just look up, like there's definitely like cursed 60s, 50s recipes and like the early Betty Crocker.
My favorite one is 70s dinner party on Twitter. That's my favorite one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I look at them. I mean, I'm very fascinated.
Interesting. Yeah. Like the ones with like fruit and like fruity things and like whipped cream, or like even something like ambrosia.
Yeah.
Like ambrosia salads. Those are not.
My family serves that still.
Yeah. I mean, that's also like a thing that's big in the Midwest. I know your family is out west, but in the Midwest, it's like, you have ambrosia and things like that. I think there's also something similar that is kind of escaping me, but it has like orange slice or tangerine slices in it or something, but it's like marshmallow.
Oh, wow.
What am I don't know what I'm thinking of, but yeah.
Catching up in the chat, a few bad dudes says, I'm here for the pickles, baby. Let's go.
Look, you got to be here for the pickles.
Got to be here for the pickles.
Yeah. Do we think they're like bread and butter pickles, right?
Oh, I bet they are.
Yeah. So it's like
I don't like those.
I don't like them. But it's like the sweet, tangy thing with like hot dog and then like mayonnaise and then like whatever mystery. My brain is like, no, it's just a bed spring under there. Like that's what it is. Or like
just a box spring.
A box spring.
It's just a piece of cardboard.
Yeah, something like that.
Just holding up the hot dog.
Yeah, this is more architecturally sound than the Fat Baby. I will tell you that.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I feel like you could slice through this.
Yeah, this is sliceable.
Speak to the Animal says, why does this feel like a liminal spaces pick? Gwem says the Aspect one is a classic. I've seen similar before, yes.
I have feelings about that liminal spaces Twitter. I'm not going to get into it right now.
Martin says, early days of processed foods. It's true.
Yes.
Flavor crime from Ocho Robo. Oops, all mayonnaise from Chris.
All mayonnaise. Yes.
Oops, all mayonnaise. Sour cream, question mark. We don't know if there's actually bread in there. We don't know.
We don't know what it is. That's half the fun.
Martin says, would prefer my hot dogs to be more cooked than they look.
Yeah, these look boiled, but like not fully boiled.
Toria has a really good question. How many minutes does the whole cake take off your life? All right, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And if these are cut in quarters, 18 divided by 4 is 4 something. Yeah. So 4 something times 36 is how many minutes we take off our lives.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's all good. It's all good, chat. We actually are going to move on to the next segment. So Emily, thank you for sending all these photos. I feel like we had very intelligent conversation about cursed food. And I don't think we've really tapped into my brain that much. I mean,
I did a lot of talking.
No, I love it. No, I'm saying in previous streams, I say a lot of technical things, but I've never really like pulled out a lot of like the philosophical implications and threads of the topics. So this is like a cool turn into that direction. So I really love all the questions you've brought to the table, literally and figuratively. But friends, actually, before we move on, you have a friend that's accompanying you on your desk.
I was like, I do?
Yes, you do. And so do I. Oh, Toria says 162 minutes. I've got Ein.
Oh, you have Ein. Oh my God. I remember that from when we did that fake.
When I did Cowboy Bebop cosplay, yes. I was Ed one year Radical Edward. We got Pee and Ed saying hello.
Hello.
Hi, we got Pee and Ed. Ed and Pee. Yeah. Thank you, Toria, for crunching those numbers. So
yes,
funny.
thank you.
162 minutes. All right, friends, it's time for the last segment of the show. So, you know what time it is. It means we are pretending we're on Chopped. If you don't know this TV show, there's a basket with 4 mystery ingredients in it, and chefs have to use them to make a dish. So in our case, you, the chat, will tell us what's in the basket. So fast fingers, please shout out an ingredient for us to put in the basket. The first 4 will be the ones that we use. There are no wrong answers. Purpose of this exercise is to think about how far the ingredients can go and maybe inspire your next meal or make you sick. I'm sorry, depending on what you put in our basket.
Yeah,
oh my God. I'll go through each ingredient individually so you all know what you're working with, but just feel free to just start spouting off how you'd combine 2, 3, or all 4 of the ingredients. Imagine that you have a basic Food Network pantry, you know, and all the tools and time that you need. Just remember, feature the stuff in the basket. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Yeah, Chopped Cursed Food Edition, like seriously.
Yeah.
All right, we got the first one from Gwem, raclette. Shit. Pickle juice from Chris. Ramen noodles from Sweet Animals. And mayo from Mojo Robo.
Guys.
Oh my goodness.
Guys.
You've done fucked up. You done fucked up our basket. It's good. No, this is good. This is a challenge. So, again, the ingredients are raclette, pickle juice, ramen noodles, and mayo. I'll go through these individually. So raclette, if you missed the first half of the show, raclette is a Swiss cheese that is, you know, the milk is harvested in the spring and fall, and then you make a cheese in the winter, and you roll the wheel down the hill in Switzerland. It is mostly known for being a fondue cheese. It's very meltable. But the most popular way to eat it right now in 2021 is to use a heating element and melt the face of the cheese and scrape it off onto other foods. Most traditionally, it is boiled potato, but you can use other fondue ingredients like bread, apples, and as we've seen in the photos earlier, French fries. But think about raclette as something that is very meltable. Pickle juice. That's the juice left over from when you pickle anything. So let's expand it to say that it's pickles of all kinds. So you can pretend you're using onion pickle juice or beet pickle juice or you know, cucumber pickle juice. So it is the brine that is used to make pickles. So when you make pickles, you've got some raw vegetable or a fruit, and you add a brine that has some mixture of salinity, acidity, and sometimes sweetness. So that means either water, vinegar, sugar, salt. So those are the flavor profiles that you're working in there. Depending on what other kinds of pickles you use, might have other elements like clove or jalapenos or garlic, whatever. But pickle juice is highly, highly versatile. Hannibal Rest likes to sprinkle his sandwiches with it. So it's a great condiment. So think about it as a dressing.
I think I remember that bit.
Flicking, sandwich flick. Yeah. Ramen noodles are typically wheat-based, flour-based. They can either be instant, which is completely dried, which needs to be rehydrated in boiling water for up to 3 minutes, or they can be freshly made, which hydrate in 1 to 2 minutes in boiling water. They can also be refried, like pan-fried noodles, or shaped into burgers, and then deep fried. So they can rehydrate, dehydrate multiple times before you lose that structural integrity. So ramen noodles are you know, not just as a noodle, you can make them into structures as well, which is really cool. And mayo is an emulsification of typically egg yolk with a little bit of vinegar, maybe some lemon, some herbs or whatever, but you slowly drip oil into it as it's whipping to create that fluffy emulsified texture. Vegan versions use soy milk in that case with no egg, and other kind of like aquafaba based, which is the juice from garbanzo beans, is used to like make fluffy vegan mayo. So let's just say you have also vegan mayo if you want to use it. But friends, let's think about how you could combine all these. Again, the ingredients are raclette, which is a Swiss cheese, pickle juice, ramen noodles, and mayo. Emily, do you have any thoughts already?
I was thinking like a mozzarella stick type thing.
Fun.
I don't know about the integrity of the raclette, but if you, because is it fried?
You could do a raclette stick. Yeah,
like
definitely.
A raclette stick with like ramen on the outside and maybe a little bit of like pickle juice in the ramen to like give it a little bit of like acidity and to actually soften up the noodles so that way it fries maybe a little bit better.
Let me walk you through it technically. So you could hydrate the ramen noodles in the pickle juice so they're infused, right? Dry them out again so they're crispy.
Oh, okay.
Or we use some kind of drying agent to make a powder out of the pickle juice. So either way.
Oh.
And then you fry, you grind up the ramen noodles that are dry, and then we bread the raclettes in that and deep fry that. And then you have a mayo dip.
Yeah. That's
there you go.
Exactly where I was going. I don't know.
Right.
I feel weird about the mayo dip, but like I'm like.
I mean, a lot of European folks have mayo with their chips, and fries.
Yeah, but like mayo, like cheese in mayo, like I don't know.
We
I
try
could see it working. Yeah, like if it was
just a mind kitchen today, or just
if it was spicy, if it was spicy mayo or something.
We can put Chipotle in there. We can
like balance out the flavors a little.
Yeah, we could even just not use the mayo and do marinara.
That works. Oh, I thought I had to do all of it.
You can, but
run the gambit.
You still have a pantry, so you can still use other things. Yeah. It's just we want to feature those things.
Yes.
That's where my mind went. Yeah, Gwen, that is a great selection of 4. Let's see. A delicious mayo on ramen, pickles, and raclette on top. We done. Thank you, Toria.
Yeah, a cheesy ramen might be interesting, but I feel like that would run the risk of getting very salty very fast.
A few of you are saying just dump them all in a bowl and give me a spoon. Who are you people? Maybe we were talking to the wrong people.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
What did we just say about cursed food? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I know, based, right? Toria has a good tip. I actually really like cooking sweet corn and pickle juice until it becomes thick like syrup. Oh, that sounds great.
Especially if I'm home alone. Is it fragrant?
I have a sweet corn. I will totally do this. Great idea. Thank you. We do all appreciate pickle juice.
Yes.
Chili pickle is the best. I agree. Ooh. Okay, Gwem says, let's see. I need to catch up. I'm so sorry. Okay. There is a salad here, a variation on the classic potato salad, but with the noodle. Yeah, it's a pasta salad.
Oh.
Yeah, but just with ramen. Like, usually it's like bow tie or rotini or whatever, but yeah, ramen noodles act like pasta too. Yeah, totally. You can dilute the mayo a bit with pickle juice. Oh, yes, that's true. German grannies do that.
It's all just vinegar.
Yeah. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Fun fact, tartar sauce is literally mayo and relish.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, duh.
This makes sense.
Yes.
It's just a smooth tartar sauce.
Yes.
And if we add paprika or chili pepper, it becomes burger special sauce.
True.
Like Big Mac sauce.
Yeah.
Another idea here. I heard about this gourmet dish called like a fat baby you can make with an artisanal loaf, hollowed out and stuffed with ramen noodles and then topped with a raclette. Sick burn, Gwen. Thank you. Where'd you hear about that fucking dish?
It sounds terrible and monstrous, and you should cover your ears.
Oh man, Gwen, you really got us with that one. LT, welcome to the chat. Yes, a sandwich.
Ooh, yeah, we could. Yeah,
we could do a raclette sandwich. We could get some bread. What if we made the bread out of the ramen noodles?
Or have you ever seen like sometimes people will like not grilled cheese, but like we'll just put straight up cheese on a grill.
Yes, like a halloumi.
Yeah.
A frico. That's what that's called.
Okay.
Like when you burn the cheese on the grill, that's called a frico. So you can do raclette frico, which is raclette chips.
Yes.
Which opens up a whole nother door for everybody, I think.
Yeah. Or ramen with the like frico chips in it.
Ooh, very nice. Very, very nice. I like that idea. Isn't this cursed? You're right. Yes. This whole conversation has been cursed.
It has to be.
Hello. Hello.
Where have you been? Where have you been?
Yes, true.
Okay.
This is the correct emoji for this.
Yes.
LT, the ingredients are ramen noodles, mayo, pickle juice, and raclette, which is a Swiss cheese. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
We have 1 minute left. Why does Swiss cheese have holes?
Oh, because it's crying. It is a chemical process that happens as it's aging.
Okay. I was like, why is it crying?
Because when cheese curds are pressed into those molds, they still have a lot of moisture, right? And it's being packed under a lot of weight. And then so as it evaporates, it cries because the oil is getting trapped in the little holes inside. And so it cries, and that's why it has holes.
I didn't realize cheese could cry.
Yeah, cheese can cry. Cheese is very
cries.
evil. I have a few more here. We just want to share real quick. Toria says, grab a nice steak, season the outside, undercooked ramen, shape of a steak, fry, cook down the pickle juice into a syrup, cook steak, sandwich ramen, but bun steak, mayo, raclette, pickle syrup. Holy moly.
Syrup.
Wow. Wow. Ramen burger style patties with raclette and pickles inside, mayo to crisp up the outside. Yes, you can use mayo instead of butter on the outside of grilled cheese.
Yeah, like a
grilled cheese. Correct.
Thing. Yes.
Yeah, like a ramen burger grilled cheese.
Isn't that how a lot of diners do it with mayo too? Because there's something about like a diner grilled cheese that like is a little different. And I think it's the mayo or something.
It's
right?
true. Yeah, it's definitely mayo or like margarine a lot of the time because it's cost effective.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you, friends, for that really fun round of Pretend Chopped. If you have more ideas, if you're a person who can't think of things on the fly, feel free to just DM me or reply to me on Twitter with your ideas. I love hearing about them. But Emily, thanks for being here and really opening my mind and really like leveling up our like quality of discussion on this on this stream. Like really, like I feel like we have been blessed. Thank you so much by your presence.
Of course.
So can you tell the folks where to follow you and again, like kind of reintroduce yourself to the people who just joined us second half of the show?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Emily. I am a linguistics person. I feel weird calling myself a linguist because I'm like...
You are.
Yeah, okay, fine. So I'm a linguist. I'm a linguist, and most recently I am a crossword constructor and crossword connoisseur. So if you want, you can follow me on Twitter. I am at DJ Meat Daddy, as the marquee will tell you. I also have my more academic Twitter where I don't tweet smut. So that's just at Emily Corvi, Corvi. And if you're interested in my my crosswords that I am now recently doing, because my internet handle is DJ Meat or Meat Daddy, you can find my crosswords at thedelicounter.blogspot.com. I just published my second puzzle like 2 days ago. So yeah, I would love any feedback on anything. And I'm just always happy to talk about like weird stuff, you know. Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Chris just shared your Twitch channel. So
I also stream crosswords. Yeah, I do whatever. Again, I'm chronically unemployed, so I do all sorts of stuff with my time, and I'm grateful for it. But yeah, so thank you so much for having me, and I hope to,
I love this.
I hope this encouraged everybody to just like
be a little more critical about the foods you see on the internet.
Yeah, be more critical about the foods you see on the internet, but also just like to ask questions about things that seem relatively mundane, because there's always something there. Things that seem mundane are mundane because they got that way, you know?
Yeah,
like
for
things
sure.
that are normal now were not always normal. So it's good to ask questions and dig into the history of things and to like challenge yourself and to like do some research and look into what's fun and interesting about the world.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Russell Bradley, for all the subscriptions in the channel. My goodness.
Oh.
Wow.
Happy September.
Yeah, September, everybody. David said, this is a great show and I learned a lot. The point about love and performance will stick with me. Yeah. Loveless Spectacle is good. I need a shirt that says Loveless Spectacle.
Also, read Bart's piece on wrestling. It's really interesting. It's from his book,
I didn't even know Bart had a piece about like wrestling.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So
actually, friends, I will be back tomorrow with my friend David Greiner, who will be talking to us about how he starts supper clubs. So it'll be really cool practical advice for if you want to start hosting things at your house as the world opens up a little bit more. Emily, if you would like to stick around and say goodbye to me, friends in the chat, actually, we're going to be rating Hiccup Truck. So stick around in the chat. I will keep the screen up and then go along for the ride, and please say support and say hi to my friend JV. But thank you all for being here. I'll be back tomorrow, Thursday, 9/9 at 5 p.m. Eastern here on Attack the Pantry.
Yay.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Hey.